For a bike ride. So strap in and we're going to do a little bit of a different route today than what I normally do. Unless I go on autopilot and go the same way, we'll find out. So we're going to, well, the plan is check out the area of the Palais Royal and maybe do a little people watching over there, grab a seat, because our ultimate destination is the Eiffel Tower, but we have time before things start to happen there. So let's get a bike. This one looks pretty good. It looks like no one's kicked its ass. It's always a bonus. So guys, this is Paris Defined Magazine's official live stream. Official, funny word. So you can go and read all of our guides to Paris neighborhoods on parisdefined.com. You can, besides watching the stream, you can subscribe to our newsletter on Substack. If you know about Substack, it's a newsletter engine. It's pretty cool. It's free unless you want to pay for it. You can if you're one of those types that wants to support extremely highbrow art in Paris, then go for it. So let's ride and see what the Palais Royal looks like today. Oh, there's like a situation with the bikes here. So somebody made a little cascade of bikes. Oh yeah, that's why those are knocked down. Okay, well, all's well that ends well. And we're taking an e-bike today, so no huffing and puffing. Oh, that reminds me. I broke my real bike, because I do actually burn calories every now and then. I broke my bike. Ooh, pardon, excusez-moi. This feels funny. Something's off about it. The seat is funny. Anyway, I broke my bike and I have to go pick it up because I had to park it in some totally random spot, not in my neighborhood. And I have to go and get it. Ick. Anyway. So I think we're live. It looks like everything was working properly. The Butte Chaumont area. Butte Chaumont is kind of like the Central Park of Paris. It's a really pretty park. And they have bars in the park, which is cool. Very liberal attitude. Left turn here. Too much traffic to do otherwise. Lucky for us, today the weather is certified gorgeous, because yesterday, with this same bottle of champagne that I have in my bag, we tried to make our way to the Eiffel Tower, and I got almost pretty close. I got to Saint-Germain-des-Prés and it started raining, so I thought, oh, this is weird. It's not on the forecast. So I'll just sit down for a few minutes, have a hot tea, and wait for it to break, and then I'll keep going. And no, it just rained harder and harder pretty much until 10 o'clock at night. So I said, screw it, I'm going on the bus. Because if I go on the metro, it's not good for streaming because there's nothing to see and then you're too close to people, so they would be annoyed. Whereas on the bus you can see outside the window, so that's pretty cool. Oh, what's going on here? More protest? I don't know. Anyway. So I sat in a cafe, did people watching for a while, thinking, okay, this is just temporary. But no, it basically was the rest of the night, so I gave up and I went to go eat tacos. So let's see who's here with us today. Who is chatting me up? Vanquish. Hey Vanquish, where are you highing us from? Obviously we're in Paris. Paris, France. Gay Paris. I just check when I stop riding, I check all of my things to make sure they're properly transmitting. Oh, hey, you love that part? Oh yeah. I don't know if they're gonna renovate it. They're always renovating something. Welcome, lovely riskiness, to the stream. Okay, so if we're going to the second and we want to go to the Palais Royal, we're going to, sorry, I'm just mentally, I just go without looking at maps because unless I'm going to a neighborhood I really don't know. But most of the time I get on the bike and I'm kind of on autopilot. So let's think, what would be a pretty way to do this? Let's go, let's take the canal for a few minutes. I mean, going straight is faster, but it's kind of fog. And I go that way all the time because it's the fastest way. So, you know, efficiency when you're commuting, but not so much for streaming. I stream the beautiful part of Paris. This bike I'm on, I don't know about it. Also, somebody remind me 20 minutes from now to change this bike because I'm putting it on you guys. Because if I go over 30 minutes, I have to pay extra. And what happens is I start rolling and then I'm watching out for these doggies. And then I forget that I have to swap out my bike every 30 minutes. And then I end up paying like €8 to ride a bike because I have a monthly membership. So I get to ride 30 times a month for like €30. It's funny because when they had the campaign there was a campaign to ban motor e-scooters, which are run by the same companies that do these e-bikes. These are the ones that you just rent off the street, and then you have to put them in special parking zones, which I always do because I'm a fucking civilized person. But there was a campaign again to ban the e-scooters, which succeeded. They're banned and they're going to disappear sometime around August. And all of a sudden, all the bike companies like made their subscriptions more generous. So I noticed that instead of 30 rides a month, it was 60 for the same €30. And I was like, oh wow, that's great. And then I had this like very sneaking suspicion that this had to do with buttering up the customers to get out to vote, because it was a referendum. It was a public referendum about, by the way, this is like a pretty much closed street. It's only for pedestrians and bikes, but the bike lane is closed. So that's why we're just, I mean, you can mix when it's like this, but anyway, it becomes a giant bike/pedestrian lane. So yeah, lo and behold, they lose the referendum by a whopping, like, it was like 90% against e-scooters, which I'm not surprised. And then the next month, the subscription changes back to 30 rides instead of 60. And I was like, oh, is anything in modern life like not a scam? I'd really like to know. Everything feels like a complete hustle, you know? Like, what is not a hustle at this point? That's what I'd like to know. Everything is online is fake. Like, you buy something, it shows up, it's like a counterfeit. Everything is set up to monetize you. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to monetize you guys too. Like, please hit the subscribe button. Send us some money on Patreon or Substack. Go crazy with it, because why not? I mean, all these Wi-Fi gigabytes ain't free. So we're in the Canal Saint-Martin neighborhood, making our way towards the second arrondissement. We're going to hit up the Palais Royal, maybe. I don't know what time they actually close the garden. We'll see if we can still walk around, because it being so light is giving me a very skewed view of what time it actually is. Like, it's late. I mean, for like certain gardens, they close them, you know, early, so I don't know. We'll see. So we're about to go through Place de la République, which, for those of you that pay attention to these things, and one of our viewers, eagle-eyed viewers, does, it is allowed to ride a bike there, even though you would think it shouldn't be or wouldn't be. It's a public square. We're about to enter Place de la République, and it used to be all car only, and then they changed it probably 10 years ago to become a mixed bike pedestrian. Like, now there's very few cars. It's one of the big protest squares of Paris. Is there some kind of protest today? Anyway, so we're going through there, and yes, it is perfectly legal to do so. For some reason, I'm not sure why they were like, yeah, let's put people and bikes together and like set up toy areas for kids, but okay. So yeah, so what I'm about to do, believe it or not, is perfectly legal and crazy. So if you'd like a taste of Rome, Italy, which if you've ever tried to go to visit Rome and cross the street, you'll realize it's pretty bananas, and Paris to me feels like Switzerland in comparison. This is your taste of Rome. So you got skateboarding kids. There's a bunch of like skate things over there, and everybody going in every direction. Very Roman, but it's Paris. Yeah, when I was I thought about the same thing right here. This is where the bike lane shoots out into the street. So anyway, when I was in Rome, I said I'm never complaining about Paris again, because it's so civilized and organized here. It feels like Switzerland. When you get to Rome, all of a sudden nothing works. The transport system doesn't work. The people are really nice though, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, of course, so it has its charms. So here's Place de la République. This statue is of the Marianne, which is the symbol of France, and she represents, well, this particular statue represents all of the different revolutions, besides the one we're currently having. See you on May 1st about that. It's going to be nuts. So we're going to cross in a minute, because we're going to get the light in our favor. Here we go. So yeah, you can see it's like a taste of utter chaos over here. A little bit nuts, but it's better than it used to be, because there used to be no bike lanes, and now we have all of these really civilized bike lanes. So yeah, we're crossing over from the 10th arrondissement into the, what, 4th, I think? Yeah, the 4th. So now we're in the Marais. We started out by Butte-Chaumont, then we went through Canal Saint-Martin, and now we're technically in the Marais, but I would say République. It doesn't feel like the Marais. It feels like République. But on a map, they would say the Marais, Haute Marais, maybe. So it's still busy enough that there are a lot of commuters here on the cycle lanes. These are not the touristy lanes. The tourists are not found over here because it's not really a touristy area, and they wouldn't be biking here. And generally speaking, when I'm taking people on bikes around Paris, because that's one of the things I do, is take people around to see things, we don't really come over here. And we do a little bit of walking over here because there's some good bakeries, but we don't bike over here. We don't go on these commuter lanes because I just don't like them. Like, you have to really know how to bike in Paris to do this. And if you're jet lagged, you're from out of town, and you're not maybe used to biking in a big city, you're better off just, I mean, there are ones that closer to the monuments that will have bike tours and so the big companies, actually, because they have giant groups, they have to take people in these bike lanes because they can't fit on the, you know, 25 people or whatever on the side streets. So really depends. In Paris, if there's a crosswalk with no light and there's a pedestrian, you're obligated to stop for them. So be kind to the Parisians. Don't squish them. Don't squish us. Art alert. But if they don't got the green, they gotta wait. Let's see what this guy does. Okay, nice. Sometimes cars do this whole like, what do you mean there is a bike lane? I don't understand thing, but not all the time. They're starting to get better at it. This is all super confusing for people. So it's red for the bike lane. It's green for the car lane from that direction. But some people see the green and are like, I'm gonna go. So there's the Museum of Arts and Crafts, Art Métier. You know, I have to look up, if somebody's watching and they want to look up, where did the mini Statue of Liberty go? Because there used to be one in front of there, and I swear to God, I tried to look for it the other day and I couldn't find it. And this is a perpetual thing that happens to me, is I'm out on my stream and I'm like, ooh, I have to look that up when I get home. Ooh, I have to look that up when I get home. Oh, where is that? What happened with that? What is this new thing? And then of course I get home and I don't remember, like, I go to eat tacos basically afterwards, and I forget everything that happened. Like, what was that movie? 500 First Dates or something? No, not that one. I didn't say that one. The one where they wipe their brains because they have a bad relationship. It's, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Stream. Yeah, that's what I should call it. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Stream. So we have all these sexy new bike lanes thanks to our sexy mayoress, Anne Hidalgo, former Spaniard, current French woman. I have hope that I will one day be accepted by the French, because if a Spaniard can become the mayor of Paris, then maybe I could at least be French. I don't want to be mayor. Being mayor sounds exhausting. It's kind of the last thing I want to do. So this is we usually go down this street a lot. This is the one I always say is the busiest bike lane in Paris, or in the world, allegedly. It's kind of like our bike superhighway. It doesn't look that busy today though. So drop me a message and I will try to answer. My plan is this, to try to snag a table around the Palais Royal, do a little people watching for a little while, maybe have a glass of wine or something like that, and then go to the Eiffel Tower in time for Le Sparkling. Okay. A good bakery, Bohemie. Actually, the list, best croissants of Paris list, if you want to check it out on parisdefined.com. Also, people, like, don't be parasites, man. Like, hit subscribe, follow. You don't have to pay for it. I mean, you can if you want. You can go on Patreon, or you can go on our Substack or whatever and drop us a tip in our tip jar or something. You don't have to be, you know, super stingy about it. This guy does not care. That's a guy that's like, I'm not tipping your stream. I'm not subscribing to your, I don't care about you. I'm just going to cross the street. Architecturally, really pretty area we're in right now. Really complicated for biking though. So, look at everybody's just cutting right across. Nothing makes sense here. I think I have to be in the right. So I want to go that way. I want to go that way. Okay. Sometimes the bike lanes don't make sense. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Dubai. Dubai is kind of like that. It's like stuff doesn't make sense at all. You could be walking on a sidewalk and then it just disappears, it ends, and you're on a highway and you have to walk back 15 minutes. Because when they planned the city, they didn't plan it for pedestrians, and they didn't plan the city centrally. I mean, not that Paris was planned. I mean, Paris was a medieval city. You know, it was a city thousands of years old. So at one time it wasn't really planned, but over the years they've been tearing down huge sections, like in the 1800s during the Osmanian restoration. They tore down a bunch of it and sort of redrew the map. So that's why it's pretty decently organized as far as cities go for commuting, etc. So another salad of people and bikes. Let's hope for the best. And here is the Saint Eustache Church. I think there are a lot of underrated churches here in Paris. Everybody wants to go see the Notre Dame, but there's a bunch of other good ones too. Saint Eustache, E-U-S-T-A-C-H-E, like mustache, but Eustache. That's a really nice one. So let's see if this is a good way to zig and zag to the Palais Royal. I'm doing a zigzag thing. Looks like it. So we're at Etienne Marcel. Pourquoi pas? Oh, can you see it from here? I don't think you can see it from here because it's too far, but there is a kitchen equipment store. There's a bunch of the axis of kitchenware stores. We have this place, which used to be called something else. Obsession. It's funny. And there's another one called J'ai de tout, which means I have everything. But it's like G, and it's like spelled like a name instead of I have. But when you sound it out, it means I have everything, and it's like a kitchen everything store. You can see that there's not a lot of respect for the traffic setup here. People are just kind of throwing themselves out there. They took that whole "put yourselves out there" mantra like to mean when you're in traffic. Good thing the GoPro has stabilization. So if I disconnect, I will be back. Don't worry, stick around, because I will be streaming until probably, I don't know, what, 10 o'clock tonight? So it's what, 7 now, Paris time? Close to 7. So definitely a few more hours. Book it, Francois. Okay. So the question is, will we make it to Palais Royal without overshooting it? Because I'm just going by feeling here. Banque de France, and also, one of the buildings of the Banque de France. There are a bunch of government buildings here. We're not far from a lot of important government buildings. Also, Alain Ducasse is kind of an important building. Okay, so there's Palais Royal. The question is, where do we put this bike? Because you have to park them only in special zones. You can't just act like an animal and leave them wherever. Palais Royal, is it closed or open? The restaurant Verfour. Sorry, I'm on cobblestones. The Grand Verfour from Emily in Paris. Oh, and I can park my bike here. Sometimes things just have a way of working out. Let's see. Also good timing for my 25-minute rule. get out of my reflective as soon as possible so people don't look at me like a lunatic. Okay, lock this bike. We're ready for action. Rep San XX, yo, welcome to the stream, homie. Thanks for tuning in. Nice. I made it in time to not pay for my bike, so that's always a success. I need a haircut, so we're going with ponytail again today. Let's see what is going on in the neighborhood. Obviously the backpack full of camera equipment and champagne and flutes lends an aura of elegance. So basically I'm rocking a look that's worse than a tourist right now. So you know what's weird? It's that your chats are not showing up. So I see now everybody chatting me. Hello, Shirley. Lovely riskiness. Planning to renovate the temple. Inside the, are you talking about inside the, sorry, you sent that message earlier, so I don't know if you're still listening or watching, but if you're talking about the one that's inside the Butte Chaumont, I'm not sure which, the temple. Almost everything feels like it's being renovated. Some kind of escape game about to happen. But it's in French. It's in French. So the gardens are obviously looking on point. Pas mal. No dogs allowed. So we're at the Palais Royal, which a few days ago was the scene of, let's say, drama, because the Conseil Constitutionnel meets here, the Constitutional Council, I guess is how you would translate that. And people obviously are not excited about this whole thing with the pension reform, the retirement reform. So they were ruling on the law the other day. So lots of people were out here protesting, and they did this thing called the what do they call it? The choir of the casseroles. And it's basically everybody takes pots and pans and goes out in front of any government building they can and makes as much noise as possible to voice their displeasure. I'm trying to get a good picture of this for the newsletter, because Palais Royal is looking pretty springy right now. Spring is sprung. So right now it's nice and calm. The Constitutional Council has ruled that the law was constitutional. So the next revolutionary action is going to be coming down on the 1st of May, which is generally a big protest day anyway. And I had the idea to like walk around the garden here and then find a spot outside, but to like have a drink or something. But they have some nice tables inside the garden, so I don't know. Let's see what we'll do. Oh, we have an article on Paris to find. It's kind of directory page about the Palais Royal, because the history is pretty funny. At one point, so this was the home where I want to say Louis XIV and his brother pretty much grew up in. And it at one point was basically, these arcades were the kind of open air prostitution zones. Not that this is like a Vice live stream, but there you have it. And so this place was known for like debauchery. Now it's just extremely posh, full of history. So on the ground floor you have art galleries, stores, restaurants, little coffee shops, like not exclusive places, but just kind of nice places to get coffee, etc. Ooh, I once went on a Tinder date and we came here and walked around, like pretty much right where we're walking right now, but maybe we'll pass, maybe the business is still there. And I was about to move apartments and he was like, oh, it's the same guy who I mentioned before by Place Vendôme that tried to buy me a diamond bracelet. The second time we went out, we were walking around here and he suggested buying me like a 4,000 euro lamp for my new apartment that I was moving into. And I was like, I don't know about that, man. Like, it's kind of a second date. Pretty weird. So I declined, but maybe I should just be better at all this stuff and accept the gifts that Tinder bestowed on me. I don't know. I didn't like him. He was weird. Sorry, Yannick. Yannick from, I think it was from Brittany. But Asians. I had a dog like that. Makes me miss my dog. So, Palais Royal Restaurant. Yeah, we were walking over here. Here's the Stella McCartney shop, although it looks not so open. Or maybe they're just working on their windows. We'll see if there's a fancy lamp store still. Oh, Stella McCartney store has closed. So Acne Studios is what you have left. Ooh, that jean tie-dye bag is calling out to me. Why not? So most of the things, this is kind of a daytime place. A lot of things are closing now, but posh glove shop. I've got driving gloves that cost 250 euros. I could definitely do some shopping over here. Simulating not shaving your legs, I guess. It's strange, I'm supposed to be able to see everybody's chats in one place, but for some reason I can't. I don't know why. Okay, so here's the conundrum. I had made a resolution to always eat before I go out to stream, because what happens is I'm like, oh yeah, I'll stream, and then I'll eat after, but then I'm starving the whole time and I'm completely distracted. So today what we're gonna do is have some sort of dinner of like whatever they have over there at that cafe. Like not real food, because I gotta make it to the Eiffel Tower by 9, so it's like 7 right now. So I have 2 hours before, so that gives us time to go see some cool stuff on the way. But it also gives me some time. Oh, I want that necklace. I would do that. I would wear that. Yeah, so that gives me some time to go snack on something while we're doing people watching. And I can try to do a seamless switch from the GoPro to my phone, which is something I have not been able to do yet. Ooh. love weird stuff. I'm so into this weird stuff. Something's coming soon. Before any store is a posh store, it is first a construction site. With the manager and the landlord perhaps having an argument or just gossiping. Art gallery. Got some Instagram posing. So we're officially in the Instagram zone of Paris. It's begun. You're gonna see some gramming real hard. This could be one of those paid photo shoots. Some people pay photographers to like do a Paris photo shoot of them. It's extremely popular. So I still have a lot of battery, that's a good sign. But like I said, if I get disconnected, don't despair. Don't lose yourself in sadness. I'll be right back. We're going to be streaming for a few hours tonight. Midnight Diamonds, welcome to the chat. Yes, this is the Emily in Paris park. Yeah, where she met her Chinese friend. The one, everybody thinks that the singing, I mean, she's obviously has a nice voice, but the music on that show just grates on my nerves. I don't know how everybody, I think it was just a PR thing that everybody had to say that the music was so amazing, but I thought it was horrible. It was driving me crazy. It was really bad. I mean, there were a lot of, like, the show is like a fun snack. But obviously it's all improbable storylines, right? And we get that. We know what we're doing. We know that it's not real, but and yet I had the perfect moment where I just took a still photo for the newsletter where there were no people. Bravo me. I have an iPhone 12 mini and it's too small for my fat, clumsy fingers. I gave Cameron the Pixel because we needed 5G phones to stream, and the Pixel doesn't run an app that I need to use, so I gave it to Cameron, and now I'm missing it because it's almost like holding an iPad in your hand. It was a Pixel 7 Pro. It was massive. It was too big, but that was okay. See, look how many Instagram photo shoots are going on. I count 3. Let's see if this is a record. Oh yes, everybody. People be gramming up in here. Gramistan. West Gramistan. This is funny. People's Republic of Gramistan. I always joke that I have the ultimate Instagram boyfriend because he's A, a real photographer, and B, he's like a cameraman more than a still. He just does still photography mostly for fun, but he's a cameraman for TV and film. So he actually worked on Emily in Paris as one of the cameramen. So I have like the real Instagram boyfriend, the real deal, the ultimate. People be gramming up in here. So I believe this is where the Conseil Constitutionnel is, like over there, and then this is a theater. Oh, and we have a saying in French. This is pretty funny. In the theater in French, you don't say break a leg, you say merde, which is the equivalent of good luck for a theater, and that means shit in French. So why would you say, oh shit, like I wish you a lot of shit, because the world's oldest like continually operating theater is right here. It's the Comédie Française, and I think it starts right there. We're going to walk through it, and the horses and carriages used to park here, and so if there were a lot of spectators, then there would be a lot of horses and carriages, and there would be a lot of horse shit. So if you had piles of shit outside the theater, it meant that your play was a success. So that's why they said merde. We wish you a lot of shit in your play. So yeah, the famous colonnades. Let's take a look at, there's some really weird freaky stores over here, and then we're going to go sit down and I'm going to get my snack on. We're leaving West Gramistan and the Buren columns. Well, we're going to go back there again. Oh, you can't see this, but this is one of the more fun stores, which is a store that sells old medals and things like that. So you have all kinds of crazy stuff from around the world, not just French, for the monarchist in your life who has everything. Too bad it's not open. We have to go there once when it's open. That's what I wanted to show you guys. So this is the Welcome and Surveillance Office of the Palais Royal. Obviously, it's a historical, very historical place in Paris. So, thank you for agreeing with me about Emily in Paris music. Everybody was writing, bombast. People were writing a lot of articles about like, oh, the real star of Emily in Paris is that Chinese chick that has way too much plastic surgery. I don't know, they didn't do a good job on her, and it's too bad. I feel sorry. It hurts to look at it. It looks uncomfortable. I mean, I wish her well, but like, it's bad plastic surgery. Her voice is gorgeous, of course, but I think the music just kind of, it's really awful. And everyone's like, the real star is the Chinese girl with her songs. I'm like, no, they're terrible. They're like terrible versions of poppy songs. So everybody's dressed better than me, which is what happens when you come into this neighborhood. I have to really make an effort to like register on the fashion scales here, and it doesn't really work with biking. I think this is like a bridal photo shoot. I'm liking her dress though, because that's pretty unusual. So good for them. So they're doing a bridal photo shoot. She has, oh, that's cute. Paris, City of Love. So take two photographers. The Chinese people haven't been back yet in good numbers since COVID, but there's usually a lot of Chinese bridal photo shoots going on at the Louvre and the Alexander III Bridge, but we haven't seen them in a while since COVID. So, but they do, it's very trendy for them to do bridal photo shoots there. And well, sometimes they'll do Western style dresses, but they like red too, because obviously it's a lucky color, and Chinese culture. So you'll see like red dresses, different things. So we'll say goodbye to the Buren columns and we'll head over to sit down and do some people watching. But yeah, this used to be both the playground of the future king and his brother and their friends, and also the open air in a different era, the open air prostitution zone. So yeah, layers of history here in Paris. Maybe not as much as Rome. Look at this, a shop that sells used, presumably, pipes. Corn cob pipe and a button nose. Look at this, you have grandpa pipes for days. Weird stuff for sale here. This guy is like, it's a statue about carpal tunnel syndrome, I guess. We've got some Teutonic looking things. Mountain Swiss people. Who knows what illegal shit that is carved from. That has to be ivory unless it's fake. I'm not sure if that's legal. Not my business though. Well, you know where to come if you're looking for a pipe collector's item. That one there, third from the top, is marked at 870 euros. So clearly for the connoisseur. I have not finished season 3. I mean, if they're trying to sell 870 euro pipes though, the way they're stashing the merchandise doesn't really give a lot of confidence. I'm starting to think that those are not ivory. That's bakelite or plastic or something. You don't really sell something for 280 euros if you smash it against the window like it looks like a thrift store, but I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So it's Rafa von Cote and best pipes to the best people, which is not pretentious at all. He's got Bill Clinton over there and the Pope. So a lot of Epstein intersectionality, maybe? Not so sure. Some highbrow references, because obviously your pipes are very, very highbrow. Anyway, I never noticed that store before, so you learn something new every day. And that was exciting. So Conseil Constitutionnel, this is where it happens, and that's why there's lots of cops over here, because people don't really like a departure from democracy when they had to, you know, work hard to get a democracy. Here's my reflection in the Conseil Constitutionnel. Random day in 2023. So where should we sit down? I don't know, should we sit down in the garden? I was thinking of sitting down on the square because there are going to be more people over there. More people watching, ergo. See, I'm talking all highbrow now because of the pipes. You have to ask. So if you want to Google where we are, we're besides Palais Royal, we're on the side of Rue de Montpensier. First arrondissement, kind of like the border over here between the first and the second. Not here, but where we parked the bike. The Comédie Française. So yeah, allegedly the oldest theater in continued existence, operation, and the source of the expression merde. Oh look, here's Victor Hugo. So they're memorializing Victor Hugo here. Oh, Racine. In America, a lot of things are named after Racine, but a lot of people don't realize that that is a French person. I sure didn't. And I lived near, I'm originally from Chicago. I used to live near Racine, as we say, it's street. And I had no idea of the French origins. If you think about it, in English-speaking countries, probably not so much Britain, but other ones, especially America and Canada, you have a lot of French, things named after French. Anything called Lafayette. I really wanted to show you this square, but like everything in Paris, it's under construction right now, so not so sexy looking. Did I step in something? I always have to check in Paris, because if I'm walking and streaming, I'll often miss my mark and step somewhere I didn't intend on stepping. So, Place Colette. Here you have the theater, the very cool metro station. I mean, it's one of the weirder ones. It's very 90s. It's like what people thought was extremely edgy in the 90s, in my opinion. But you can sit and take a picture. And then, of course, you have this little cafe, which, let's see if it has any tables that I can even sit down at. And we'll see if I can make a seamless transition from my GoPro to my phone, which has a better camera for street people watching. And we wait for our staff to guide you to your seats. So I'm not feeling that I'm going to get a people watching spot out here. But we're like just across from the Musée de Louvre, so we'll see. Could go there, but then I won't get the square. Yeah, 'cause if I sit over there, then all those motorcycles are in the way. I'm kind of thinking that I might do that though. So let's see. Alternatives. It's just too crowded there. Sometimes plan B is the best plan. Because you think you know what you're doing and then you come up with another plan because what you're doing doesn't work. And the second thing is better. At least that's what I tell myself to feel better. Do you want to buy some berets made in China? And some big bus tickets? I like taking big bus tours once in a while because I'm super lazy, especially if it's just constant, like real tourism, like hardcore. Oh, let me see what the view looks like from over here. This is a way more accessible cafe than the last one. Menu in English, terrible sign. So, crepes. Oh, I can get a crepe. Oh, they even have snails. Haha. Oh, you know what? One of my guests on a tour told me about a snail place. I should have gone there to find the best snails. So let's see. We have a decent view over here. I guess this is okay. Maybe I'll ask the monsieur. Bonjour. Est-ce que je peux prendre une... Merci. Okay. So, plan B is always the plan, it appears. So, I'm going to order something because I have time to kill before the Eiffel Tower twinkles. We're going to people watch a little bit. And then I'm going to try to transfer seamlessly to my phone to see if I can do it better. Because the GoPro is extremely wide. So if anybody else has comments for me, drop it in there. Whole restaurants with just different snails. No, it wasn't a whole restaurant. It's just, we had a disagreement over the best snails. I think a whole restaurant with just snails would disappear very quickly. Because how often are you like, ooh, what should we order for delivery? And you're like, ooh, should we get pizza? Should we get burgers? Should we get tacos? Oh, no, let's get escargot. It doesn't happen. It's just a weird one-off thing that you do sometimes. So, what should I get? I wasn't going to eat anything. But once again, I left the house and I forgot to eat. going to be out streaming till 10 o'clock tonight, so maybe I would get something. But I'm on a diet, so I try to stay away from the sugar. Quiche. Tranche. Decisions. Meat and bread never fails. I could get an onion soup and see how it is. Café de la Comédie. So this is where we are. Café de la Comédie. I don't know why it's called that. No, I'm just kidding. It's because the theater across the street is the Comédie Française. So tartines, they have sandwiches, open-faced sandwiches. Eggs. You know, here omelets are not really a breakfast thing. It's like a thing. I can get it cooked. You know what? I'm gonna try the onion soup. No, I'm not gonna try the onion soup because I don't want it. I need to be honest with myself. What I really want is the planche of charcuterie. But the onion soup will keep me warm, and I'm always cold. So it's settled. Onion soup it is. Downside of being on the street. Alors, oui, en fait, s'il vous plaît, une soupe à la
Bordeaux, Merlot ou Brouillé?
Bordeaux. Super, merci. Okay, so. Yeah, so no, I'm not doing the snails today. I just don't have it. I just don't have it in me to do snails. It's so weird. I can't see everybody's chat. It's like it's all mixed up. It's supposed to be all in one place where I can see everybody talking, but it's moving around. It's not. Okay, so now the fun part. We're going to do a couple crazy things. I'm going to try to switch to my phone while not cutting the stream. Also, let me know if the stream is pixelated or not. Sometimes I need to, I need to restart my hotspot because it gets all pixelated and all crazy. But I did it earlier before I left, so it should work. No, it doesn't look pixelated today. I don't know why. But either way, this wine is it's from Bordeaux. It's almost like looks very oaky. It's almost like a brown red.
Tu verras, tu remercieras la vie.
Ooh, I like it. Ooh, weird. It has a really weird finish. Yeah, this is a strong wine. A lot of character. Wait, cheers everybody. People are looking at me like we were looking at all those photo shoot people. Look at these crazy clowns. Okay, so now the fun part. Let's see if we can switch to phone from the same without shutting off the stream. Because the phone will probably have a better shot. So, how do we do this? I have the software to do it, but I have to do a little bit of thinking about how to pull it off. So, I'm going try to steal the stream. So if I get cut off, don't disappear on me because I'll be here for a few hours and I don't like being alone. Well, I'm not alone anymore. Lots of people watch now, but the more the merrier. This terms of chatting. So I'm going to try to figure out how to do this. And then we're going to set it up on my gimbal, which is my tripod for countertop. Fashion alert. Some people are like super fashionable. Let's turn this way. The more fashionable people are coming from that way. The Mandalorian, you are not qualified to give any historical context. The few moments I've been listening to you, frankly, you're doing disingenuous like Fox News. That's funny. Yeah, sure, man. How so? I'm curious which specific pieces of information you don't like. That's funny. Anybody can say anything on the internet, and I get some people in the comments that are like, that's not a bike lane, why are you riding in it? And I'm like, dude, I live here, I think I know. Thank you for tuning in, Mandalorian. And your all caps gives you the proper authority. So I really feel your authoritativeness coming through. So please do share what it is that you are taking issue with, and we'll look it up and see. I don't think I can add my camera. It's so weird how certain chats don't show up in the chat and then I see them. I think it might be held for for review or something, because it's like got a bunch of emojis in it. I know people put links, it sometimes holds back. So I'm really trying to figure out how to switch cameras while not cutting the stream. And I have a kind of feeling now that if I cut the stream, it looks like that guy telling me my historical information is inaccurate, like Fox News, is the reason I cut the stream for dumb people. So I don't know. Can I add another camera? Paired channels. No, that doesn't work. I would have to switch. I think we'll just keep the GoPro with the wide, because I don't know how to switch while I'm sitting here, but I'm definitely going to switch when we get to the Eiffel Tower because I want to use my iPhone over there, but the GoPro is better for the bike because of stabilization. So Repson, I don't know if you can read the messages from everybody because I have this unified chat thing, but I don't know if it's turned on because I'm technically incompetent. Historically very competent though. I have to give myself 9 out of 10 for French history. So someone is upset with my historical information. Ah, merci beaucoup. Merci. So here is our onion soup. Let's see what the deal is with the soup à l'oignon. I gotta get my little cord out because I'm in a really highly trafficked area. So I usually what I do is I attach my camera to my helmet so that if somebody, like for example this guy that's totally lurking hard, wanted to steal my camera, they'd have to take my helmet and like the chair, and then I attach the helmet to the chair. Okay, so let's see what the deal is with this onion soup. See, however much I was laughing at all the posing girls and guys, I'm now 10 times worse. So I don't know what the history of the onion soup is, you guys. So I can't really tell you anything about the history of the onion soup, other than everybody thinks it's French and I've never done any research about it. So yeah, homeboy that had a problem with my historical information bounced and is not giving me a response, which is too bad because I wanted to know what he thought was so bad about my historical information. I mean, I always check everything on Wikipedia, so. Okay, let's see what's up with this onion soup. The history of the onion soup is that it was invented by Napoleon for people that picked cafes that are like way too close to the goddamn street. Instead of more intelligently, I'm flirting with the bus driver. I'm winking at him, he's cute. Instead of more intelligently sitting at the better cafe that is like a little bit off the street and therefore not as annoying and not as like potentially pickpockety. So let's see. I have a total rig system where my camera is attached to my helmet. Is it working? Okay, I just have to hold it and hope for the best. I was trying to rig my camera to attach to my helmet in my bag, but not with the long distance cord. Okay, so we're gonna see Napoleon's favorite soup. From here on out, we're doing only incorrect historical facts until we get to the Eiffel Tower. So everybody knows that Napoleon Bonaparte, his favorite soup was the French onion soup. That was way hotter than I expected. So Napoleon's favorite soup was the French onion soup, which was invented here at this metro stop during World War II. Hitler was also known to enjoy a good onion soup while he was in Paris during the occupation during World War II, from 1941 to 1975. And he often had his soup laced with methamphetamines. That's actually the true part. Hitler was on speed. So was the whole Nazi army. Sorry, I have to switch back to Fox News. Fox. I like how like people go from 0 to 100 immediately. It's not like, oh hey, no, you're wrong about that thing about the theater. Which I could be. I mean, it's all like tour guide facts that are passed down. Some of my research. I could be wrong. I'm not above like admitting if I'm wrong. But I love how the guy goes from 0 to 100. He's like, you are Fox News. Yes, I'm a fascist puppet of
Ensuite, je lui ai demandé est-ce que tu as une idée de prénom et il me dit oui, bah, on a pensé à Attila. C'est débile quoi.
People are crazy on the internet. I had a guy the other day who was, his comments all got blocked by YouTube because he was putting a whole bunch of links in them, and I guess YouTube blocks that. I don't know, I'm new to all this, so I don't really, and I don't have a lot of time to like go home and then look through the comments again, so I didn't see that all his comments got moderated out by YouTube. But He was like a pedestrian activist, I guess. He was really upset that I was riding a bike. So he was questioning all of my choices, and I'm pretty polite as a bike rider. And I follow all the rules, the legal rules, because, you know, I'm being videoed, so you have to. And I do it anyway, just out of politeness, because I don't want people to hate bikes. You know, like, it's a two-way street. If you want people to be polite, you have to be polite first. So anyway, he was sending a whole bunch of articles, like news articles about, bike lanes, and he was like, the street you're on has a different bike lane, why are you taking this one, is it legal for you to do that? And I was like, so then he messages a bunch of times, why are you deleting my comments? And I said, I saw it like 2 days later or something, because it was like in the moderated comments, and I was like, I didn't delete your comments, it must have been YouTube. And he said, no, YouTube doesn't delete comments. I'm like, okay, well, clearly they are, because I don't care enough to delete them, and I don't care if you disagree with me. It's totally fine. My ego is fragile in different ways, besides YouTube comments. So I found them in some like YouTube comment dumpster, and they were all links of him being like, why are you taking that street when there's a bike lane on this other street? And I'm like, did I do anything rude to pedestrians? No, like, I'm always super nice. If I make a mistake, I apologize. I don't know. So the internet brings out like the absolute weirdest in people, and it's taken me like probably only a couple weeks of streaming to figure that out. I would say this onion soup is like a 6 out of 10. It's not blowing my mind. I've had a really bad onion soup in Paris, and this is not it. This is good. Soup for dinner when you're trying to lose weight is really good, because you can trick your body into thinking it's more food. Don't report me for anorexia or anything. Oh, thanks. It is tasty. I wouldn't say it's like the best ever, but you know. Yeah, I think that guy's comments got moderated because they're not showing up, like they're showing up direct to me, but they're not showing up on the stream. So I think maybe because he put a bunch of like toilet and shit emojis, he got like YouTube moderated him or something, and I'd have to approve him. I mean, personally, I don't care if people want to disagree with me, but have the cojones to say what it is that I'm talking about that's incorrect, rather than just bounce out. I mean, it's just mildly trolly for me. That's okay. People have a right to troll. My soup is too hot, so I'm letting it cool off a little bit. I guess the wide shot from the GoPro is not too bad over here, because you get to see a little bit of everything. Like I've been wanting to come here to stream, to do people watching stream, because it's pretty cute, because you have the Palais Royal, the Conseil Constitutionnel. Maybe he took offense with my my explication of the situation with the Conseil Constitutionnel. Honestly, if it's explaining the intricacy of the French constitutional process, I could be extremely rough on that one. For history, no. I'm actually pretty close to getting certified as a French history expert, because I'm a huge nerd. It's just my passion to like nerd out with French history, so I probably wouldn't get much wrong there. Not that I couldn't be wrong, but because French history is enormous. Like, I know a guy with a master's degree in French history, and sometimes I ask him a question, he's like, oh, I don't know, I have to think about that. And then he has to like do math in his head and stuff, and he's like, I don't know, I have to look it up. So for sure I'm not even as good as him. So yeah, maybe politically that's why the guy got all riled up, because I was talking about what's going on with the law, and maybe I was a little rough in my explanation, because People are very sensitive about that right now. I mean, myself included. I've had arguments with friends and about it. Generally speaking, the French public is against the law, against the reforms, not against the law. And also, I for sure did not say the correct phrase for that choir of called some concert of the casserole. People beat pots and pans in front of government buildings to a type of protest. And they did that the other night because our president's speech about this very unpopular law he just rammed through that's caused massive protests. And so people were here protesting because Conseil Constitutionnel is here. And that's where the panel met. So my understanding of the way it works when you pass a law in France is that it has to go before this Conseil Constitutionnel, where they decide whether or not it's constitutional. Contrasted maybe with the US, where a law would have to go before the Supreme Court and then be decided on whether or not it's constitutional. Here, my understanding is that the law has to immediately pass through a kind of constitutional review. I'm just going by what French people tell me. When it comes to the political process, I'm not super sharp on that. I'm more of a history nerd than a process nerd. But yeah, maybe that's what he got mad about, because it's kind of a weird reference, Fox News. So please enlighten us. Hybrid Pictures, welcome to the chat. How much is a glass of wine? You know what? I'm a little afraid to find out because I didn't ask. At a place like this, it can't be that much. I mean, the soup is $11.50, which is obviously like an atrocious price for a bowl of soup, but because we're in this area and having this view, except for the whole like almost getting shaved off by traffic part, honestly, like the soup probably would have been 17 euros at the place I was going to go to first, but you'd be on a square rather than on the traffic. So I see the charms associated with that, because here I have all this traffic barreling at me. Still a cute square though. I'm definitely going to do people watching from here because it's not only tourists. I mean, there's some tourists here, but it's nice to see actual Parisians and like fashion people. And we're kind of close to Rue Saint-Honoré, which is a lot of shopping streets. So, fashion right here. I'm gonna start to carry a QR code and like let people who seem interested know that they could be on my live stream and just let them scan it. So yeah, we're gonna find out how much my glass of wine is because I asked for a wine by the glass, but I didn't ask how much it was. And the thing about Paris is that it's kind of tacky. Like they don't really rip off tourists and things like that. They're not going to like give you a 30 euro glass of wine at a place like this. This is a corner cafe essentially. One of the things I love about Paris is that it's not really French to rip off tourists. You know, they don't try to pad the bill. I mean, there are scams, like street scams, but they're mostly not French. They're like gangs that come from outside the country. Generally, you have like waiters padding the bill because you're a tourist. It's just not, it's like, it's too tacky for French people. Like they would consider it, like the French waiter is a person who takes pride in his job and is just, they would consider that like beneath them. It would be scamming, they wouldn't do it. Now, there are places that charge a lot because rent is expensive. I mean, we're in a really posh area. We're across the street from the Louvre, essentially. So rent is high, of course, and things in Paris are all expensive anyway. Even where the rent isn't high, there's nothing cheap in Paris. So, nothing. thing. So yeah, we're gonna find out. But my suspicion is, I would say for wine by the glass, that's anonymous, because they didn't say, they just said we have this region, this region, this region. They didn't say what kind or like brand. I'm gonna say like a place like this is like €9 maybe. And it's not bad. There's a place we'll pass by that used to be a really good restaurant and bar on the Verge de Seine, which is the waterfront, like where it's pedestrian and bike. And there's a bar that I used to like to go to before COVID, and then it was actually one of the first bars we like when we went back out after COVID when things reopened. It was one of the first places we went to, and they clearly changed ownership, and the wine was so bad. I mean, you're thinking it's a glass of red wine in France, like there's a kind of like lower level, like how bad it could be, because it's France. We have pride in our wine, like we are wine. This wine, I kid you not, it tasted like it was from the soda gun, like Coca-Cola. It tasted like it came out of the same spigot. It was so bad. And I saw that the staff was all different too, so. No, I don't think oh yeah, the €17 soup, I'm talking to Repson. Yeah, €17 soup would have been over there. Over here it's 11.50. My suspicion is over there at 17 or so. But you know, like in Paris everything is so expensive, you get a little bit immune to sticker shock. And also, like as a local, you don't go here. You just don't. Like, maybe once in a while, like I don't know if you worked in this neighborhood, you would meet your friends, you would know the good spots to go to. But to be honest, like I'm looking around, the place I'm at is 100% tourist. But it's still decent. It's not like they're not completely gouging you, and the food's, you know, the soup is fine. So yeah, we'll find out exactly how much that wine was. I could be eating my words, so to speak. But yeah, we do stuff in other neighborhoods like Belleville and everything. And over there you have the hipster restaurants. So it'll still be expensive, but it won't be this expensive. But it'll have to be really good, or it'll be completely garbage places like they sell pizza, kebabs, cheese naan, pasta, steaks, like all from the same restaurant, sort of thing. Yeah, like Belleville and Canal Saint-Martin's too trendy, but like Belleville, it's either kind of a trashy restaurant or it's a totally hipster place. There's no in between over there. See, this is the conundrum, you guys. I'm trying to, you know, in an elegant neighborhood, I'm trying not to look like a slob. I mean, I already look like worse than a tourist, which is a live streamer or an Instagrammer or something. So I have this soup. So what am I supposed to do with this? Like, if I put this in my mouth, I'm gonna have like a dribble of cheese all over my chin. You just can't win at this game. So I try to cut it off at the edges, but then I'm just spending like 10 minutes trying to get one spoonful of soup. Paris is an elegant city. As a foreigner, you have to try extra hard. And when I'm riding a bike, I'm not really doing the elegance thing. Like you can see, well, I wear this kind of all black outfit so that I'm very neutral and you don't see me. Because then when I wear first of all, if it rains, I have a plastic coat. Look, I can't even get one goddamn, okay. I have a plastic coat on, so if it rains on me again like yesterday, I'll be ready. But also people don't notice the GoPro chest mount if I have a black, Jesus Christ, if I have a black coat on, so I like to wear that. Because people notice the GoPro and they get a little uncomfortable. I was watching this stream last night because it just popped up on mine, like after mine, and it was Beverly Hills. It was the same sort of thing, like people walking around live, oh god damn it, people walking around live stream, just using my finger. And people were all excited to be on it. They were like not caring, whereas Europeans are kind of like, fuck off. So that's why I don't really zero in on people here. I just kind of do the street scene and leave it at that. But tourists would probably want to be on the stream. They'd be excited. Oh, I forgot to get this out of the way because eating soup is not value. I'll have like some, because seriously, people get really like wound up about things. Biker guy getting wound up, and then history guy or politics guy. We'll definitely like do like a screen cap of me when I've got my mouth in some soup.
Et bah donc ce petit sujet-là.
I'm way too vain for that. I mean, I don't know how the hell you're supposed to eat it. More cheese than onion. Yes, hybrid. There is more cheese than onion, and I'm happy with that today because I was starving. Soup a la onion. Yeah, like, you know, when you see a place that says, sorry, I'm responding to people's comments, so I sound like I'm having like a brain like short circuit. But yeah, you see those places that are like pizza, kebab, tacos. You're just like, no, none of that is going to be good. We saw a really funny one, like, working and streaming in the neighborhood, and it's a neighborhood with a ton of fast food. And I saw what I think is like the most fast foodiest place. Literally had everything. They had a whole bunch of Indian food. Plus they had like tacos, kebab, pizza, 2 types of burgers, like a knockoff McDonald's burger and then like an artisanal homemade burger. And I was like, what the heck? It had to be like a fake restaurant for Uber Eats or something mostly, where it had like 5 different brands, so you think you're getting like a fancy dinner. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's good. I respect the hustle. But real recognizes real. So I have to make sure I leave in time to catch some stuff on the way. Okay, so it's almost 8. Repson, what do you mean by need a food guy? Like, what's a food guy? I don't get it. So it's almost 8, so I should leave pretty soon if I want to breeze past the Arc de Triomphe on the way to Eiffel Tower. And then I want to set up. Sunset is like almost 9, so like 8:50. So I'm keeping that in mind. Yeah, I got a bike complaining guy, I got a history complaint. Okay, so Repson said a food guy is a guy that complains about the way you eat. I'm telling you, this person exists. They just maybe are too busy to type, or they're gonna find the channel in a day or 2. But this man is out there because we've got bike complainers, we've got people that are taking issue with my way of explaining the constitutional process of the French Republic, which makes perfect sense because, like I said, that's my weak spot. What you guys are not seeing, but everybody on the street is that I'm eating this like a beast because it's getting cold and I gotta finish it and get back on a bike. So I'm just saying nobody cares. People don't know me. Nobody knows me, nobody cares. If I look like a piggy pig, well, it's like trying to eat pasta and not have it like jiggle all over because the cheese is like pasta. So yeah, I would say this is a good onion soup. If you're in the neighborhood, it's fine. This is definitely the neighborhood for the fashionable tourists. People are doing their photo shoots. So they dressed up. Yeah, I've gone officially like feral with soup. I'm no longer passing for glamour. I mean, I'll be honest, I never did. If you're walking around with the camera and this like huge unglamorous backpack, my helmet's nice, I have a nice helmet, but you're not fooling anybody. People assume they make nasty assumptions about you. What is that thing called? It's not the chorus of the casserole. Is it the concert of the casserole? Like the pan, the pot beating protest that happened the other night? Any French people want to weigh in on that? I never knew that was a thing. I saw it on the news. But they did it in every city, in front of the city hall, and here they did it in front of every government building. So it's way easier to like walk out of your house and you go down the street to something rather than come all the way to like center Paris. Paris seems, oh hey Invisible Rider. Invisible Rider, are you in the United Kingdom or Ukraine? I never know what your UK means, but welcome back. Peaceful, are you serious man? Have you seen how many buses were like 1 foot in front of my stream here? A lot. I definitely picked the louder place, but it depends on where you are. Like if you live on a really busy street, this might pass as peaceful, but look, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 streets all coming together here. Is that right? 5 as far as I can see. We're a block away from the news. It's not rush hour anymore, but Paris just, I don't know. There are not a lot of streets that cars could drive on now, so they slowly are losing all their places to bikes. So the streets that can handle car traffic are always packed. Like if you're in Paris, I always tell people never take an Uber in Paris or anything like that if you're running late, because you'll just be later. There's really no point. So I'm gonna finish my glass of wine and then we'll get going. It was really, I will say, like at this point, like it's the just, and I wouldn't even call people trolls just because they disagree with me. You could disagree with me, but I would prefer if you said what you thought was so offensive as to call me Fox News. Hey, it's Weebs. Weebs is in the house. What's up, man? Weebs asked the question, is there always a line at the Perchoir? It depends. You're better off making a reservation, because yeah, there's almost always a line there. Especially if the weather's good, everybody wants to be on the rooftop. But they have, so it depends on if you want to eat or drink at the Perchoir. Because the Perchoir is a group of restaurants, and I don't know who they're in bed with, but they have the best real estate in the city in terms of rooftops. I can't even think of a group that has better. I mean, there are some really good ones that are individuals, but somehow like the Perchoir has amazing rooftops. So they have bars on top of the BHV department store. Usually only for the summer, for the good weather. They have a bar on the top of the Gare de l'Est. They have one at the Porte de Versailles. So they're really specialized in outdoor bars. Ooh, they also, is it also a, oh no, that's a Rosa Bonheur. They're really specialized in outdoor bars in the summer, besides their main location, which is the one you're probably talking about that has a line. So that one's, it's a good restaurant. So if you want to have the full experience, going there is cool. And yeah, there's a line, but it's kind of big. I don't know. Just make a reservation and then you won't have to deal with that. They take reservations online. But the ones that are just bars around town, they don't really have a big menu. They'll usually have some random thing like, oh, we have pizza. But that's not really what you go to Perchoir for. But it's more about the real estate of the rooftop bar. So if you're in town, go to the Perchoir de l'Est. Go to the one on top of the BHV department store in front of the Hotel de Ville, the City Hall. You could go out to Porte Versailles, but don't. I mean, if you're going to be out there already, go to that one. But just make a reservation, because it's cool. You can see the Sacré-Cœur from the main location. You can see the Sacré-Cœur and the sunset. That's cool. I almost like accidentally got picked up there last time I went with some girlfriends to the Perchoir. Oh, Perchoir Marais. Oh yeah, so you're talking about the one on top of the BHV department store. Yeah, that one is really hot real estate because there aren't a lot of rooftop bars in that neighborhood. So, and I'm not really sure about their reservation policy. So yeah, the one in the Marais on top of the BHV department store, BHV, that one is hard to get into because it's a really good view. I mean, you're in front of the Hotel de Ville, you're practically on the water. That neighborhood, because it's the medieval kind of neighborhood, you don't have a lot of rooftop anything or high up anything to see from. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna look up if you can make reservations there. I'm curious. But yeah, if you'd have to go really early and like get in. Otherwise, there's always a line there every time I pass by. Because I pass by a lot. Oh, hi Patty. So Patty is in New Caledonia, and she said it's 4:55 in the morning. She just woke up, and she said thank you for the live. Merci Patty, bienvenue. Et salut à tout le monde de Nouvelle-Calédonie. That's cool. We're getting it real.
Hello. Can we exit?
Oh, Repson, the guy who did it during the protests with the best croissant. Honestly, I feel super dumped on with that idea because that should have been my idea. I don't know, that was fucking funny. That was a really good video. Gotta give it to him. He's Italian. I think he was, I don't know the guy, but I saw the video somehow and I was like, that's brilliant. It was one of those like you kick yourself, you're like, what? That's exactly the type of idea I would normally have, but I didn't. So I was like, oh man, I really missed an opportunity like that. So I'm gonna pay and get on a bike. We're going to ride into the sunset, all of you lovely people, that way, the direction of La Tour Eiffel. We're gonna take the scenic route. We're going to, today we're going to go to the Place de la Trocadero. We'll have a nice view of the Eiffel Tower when it twinkles, and I will try to be coordinated enough to set up my phone before, because I'll have to change batteries at probably before then. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to change batteries soon. Oh, you guys, it's going to disconnect any minute because I'm gonna run out of battery. So I'm gonna just take control of the situation and change my battery right now. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Bisous, bisous. So, don't abandon me. We're gonna go to the Eiffel Tower. That tall metal thing that lights up. 5, 4, 3. Oh, I'm gonna break a nail. The new GoPros, man. They're nail